What's going on, guys? Aero here, and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, I want to talk to you guys some more about Generation 9 with Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, as today we finally had the first ever previews come out for this brand new generation of Pokemon games, and so a lot of people from like gaming journalists, as well as YouTubers and influencers, got to have some hands-on time with these games and play them for about 90 minutes and get kind of a feel for what the game is going to be like, and through all that information, we finally had like the articles and videos and all of that come out today, and we've learned a lot of new information. Now, all of this information is kind of just scattered throughout all of these previews. Some of them are in articles, some of them are in videos, some of them are said by people on Twitter and stuff. So I basically looked through everything this morning and compiled all of the new information together into this one video for you guys, so you can just watch this one video, share it around, and pretty much have all the new information that we know so far. Now real quick before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that I am partnered with Best Buy now, and so there will be links below in the description and the pinned comment to Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet, and even the double pack. If you click those links and then pre-order from there, you can really support me and help out the channel a lot, so I would really appreciate it. And Best Buy is awesome because they'll actually give you free shipping and send the game right to your house day one, so if you want to play the games the day that they're available and have them delivered right to your doorstep, then definitely consider pre-ordering from the links below in the description or the pinned comment. I would really appreciate it. And these games are looking pretty cool, so I know a lot of you guys definitely want them. Alright, so moving into the information, the first thing that we have right here is that there's going to be multiple little passageways, shortcuts, and secret paths that are going to be throughout the Paldea region. So even though we've kind of seen like the main path which has been created for you to walk around on and get from area to area, there are going to be a lot of little secret passageways and mini caves and things that you're probably not going to notice right away, and they are going to have like hidden Pokemon inside of there, hidden items, and all of that. So I am happy that that is going to be something that's going to be in this game, because it's going to give you a big incentive to actually go and explore, find some rare Pokemon, find some good items, and all of that. It was like that in Pokemon Legends Arceus too, where if you actually ventured out and explored areas, you could find some rare Pokemon like Chimchar and Piplup and Turtwig and stuff like that just inside of the wild. So it's going to be cool to see that also make a return inside of these games. Now, in terms of the day and night cycle, it looks like that there's going to be a preset day and night cycle that's already going to be inside of the game, and it's pretty much just going to go through day and night by itself, and you're not going to have the ability to change it. So something that was really cool in Pokemon Legends was like if you were hunting for like a Murkrow or something and you knew they always came out at nighttime, you could always just go to a camp and change the time of day and make it so that you sleep until nighttime, and then you could venture out and find some Murkrow or Pokemon that only appeared during a certain time of day. You're not going to be able to do that inside of these games. It's pretty much just going to have its own cycle that it's going to go through by itself, and it's also not going to be like connected to your Switch's clock. So like if you're playing it at nighttime, it's going to be night in the game too. It's not going to be like that, even though it was like that for like Brilliant Diamond and like the DS games in the past. So it's pretty much just going to be by itself, but I feel like it could also be something where maybe after you beat the game, you unlock it to be able to be the same as your Switch's clock, because I think it was like that in Pokemon Sword and Shield, where it was on its own for like the main game, and then after you beat the game, it started being connected to your Switch's clock, so maybe it could be like that too. Now, there were 2 additional Pokemon that were confirmed by the Pokemon staff who were helping with these previews, and those Pokemon are Mimikyu and Decidueye. I'm assuming with Decidueye, you're also going to be getting the entire evolution line, so Rowlet, Dartrix, Decidueye, and Mimikyu are all going to be confirmed to be in the game. Now, in case some of you guys were wondering, we did get confirmation that the gyms are not going to be scaling in levels. So of course, this is still one of the most unfortunate things in my opinion about this game, is that even though you can do the gym leaders in any order, they're not actually going to scale to kind of how many badges you currently have. So I think it would have been so cool if like you could go to like a ghost type gym leader, and if you went to them at the very start of the game, they would send out like a level 10 Ghastly or something. But if you went to them after you had 7 badges, they would send out like a level 50 Gengar. I think it would have been so cool if you could have like different combinations, and it would add so much more replayability to kind of see all of the different teams that each gym leader could have. But it's not going to be like that. They're pretty much just going to have their preset teams, so it is very possible that you and your level 11 Quaxley could very well end up going to a gym that ends up having like a level 50 Pokemon, and you're just not going to be able to beat that at the start of the game. Now, in one of the preview screenshots, it seems like there's an image here of a brand new Pokemon. If we take a look in this Terra Raid battle and look up at the corner here for the icon for this character Ali, there's like a very faint kind of blurred out or kind of like darkened image of a new Pokemon. I don't know exactly what this is. It honestly might even be the Sprigatito evolution, because I do see a little bit of green there, so maybe it could be that. Maybe it could just be some other brand new grass Pokemon, but a lot of people have been trying to kind of figure out what this Pokemon could be. Now, something really cool about this game is that there's actually going to be 18 total badges that you're going to be able to get in the Paldea region. Now, of course, there's only 8 gym leaders, so you're only going to get 8 badges from the gyms. However, you also get badges for defeating all of the leaders that are a part of Team Star, as well as a badge for doing like the Titans that are going to be a part of the Path of Legends. So basically, if you battle all 8 gym leaders, you battle all 5 of like the admins or commanders of Team Star, and then you battle like the 5 Titans, 5 plus 5 plus 8, you're going to be able to do it for all 18 types inside of the game, which I do find really cool. One of my favorite things about Pokemon Legends Arceus was how you were able to throw your Pokeball at a Pokemon while they weren't looking to be able to surprise them with like a backstrike and get that really satisfying sound effect and initiate a battle that way. And unfortunately, while it's not going to be exactly like that inside of these games, that aspect is kind of going to be carrying over a little bit because of that new Let's Go feature that still allows you to be able to throw your Pokeball. And what's really cool about this is that you can still throw it at the back of a Pokemon and initiate a battle that way. I think it does give you a slight little boost or something along those lines for helping it to be a little bit easier to catch that Pokemon. I did read a little bit about that and people were saying that, so it is cool that it is going to be there in some way. Now that Let's Go feature is also going to give you significantly less EXP than when you're battling a wild Pokemon normally, so that's really good because I was a little bit worried about that, where if you were using this Let's Go feature and just battling every single wild Pokemon that you see, I was worried that you were going to be able to get over leveled really easily, but because you are getting significantly less EXP, you can still keep using this feature and you won't have to worry about being super over leveled. Now, they also did mention that Pokemon that are using the Let's Go feature will not be able to become aware of shiny Pokemon or differentiate between them. So if your Let's Go Pokemon does see a shiny, they're still going to just try to kill it. So that is going to be something that you're going to have to worry a little bit about, because if you're just sending your Pokemon out there, it's very possible that they might have just accidentally killed a shiny Pokemon. So it might be nice if there is like some type of little sound effect or something to let you know that there is like a shiny Pokemon nearby or something, so that you can call back your Pokemon. But yeah, it seems like that they are just going to be attacking any Pokemon that they see. Now, speaking of shiny Pokemon, they have been confirmed to be in the game as overworld encounters, just like in Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I know in Pokemon Sword and Shield, you could see like a Wooloo that could be normally colored, but then once you actually run into it and encounter it, it could end up being a shiny, so you don't have to worry about that. If there is going to be like a blue Ponyta or something, you will just see it while you're walking around in the world, and you'll know if it's a shiny. Now, we've already seen a little bit of footage of making your own sandwiches and stuff while you're picnicking with your Pokemon, and it seems like one of those sandwiches is also going to have a shiny boosting effect to be able to encounter shiny Pokemon even easier. And if the shiny charm is still in this game, it seems like this is definitely going to be a must if you want to have even better odds of finding them. Now, a lot of these articles and videos did talk about performance issues and that there were many parts of the game where the frame rate was really dipping a lot for them, and it was like 15 FPS for like a windmill spinning around and stuff, and it was just not really good for them. And the game still looked to be in 720p, as some of the textures were a little bit fuzzy and all of that too. Now, it is important to mention that they were saying that they were playing a developmental build here and that this was not like the final retail version of the game that you're going to be getting next month, so it is very possible that they could iron out a lot of these and fix them by the time that the final version of the game releases, but it is also important to just mention that a lot of people were talking about them. The catching inside of these games, even though it is reverting back to the individual battles against each Pokemon and not the really cool method of just being able to throw Pokeballs at a bunch of wild Pokemon that you see throughout the world, like in Pokemon Legends Arceus, a lot of people did mention that the catching is much faster inside of these games compared to any other previous Pokemon game in the past, and it seems like the animation and the Pokeball wiggles and everything just happen really quickly. Your bag also has an auto heal feature where it'll basically just look at all the items that you have inside of your bag and instantly find the best possible items to use for Pokemon that have fainted or have been injured, so that you don't have to go through and like shuffle through all of your potions and ethers and all of that. So that's a nice quality of life change. Speaking of quality of life changes, one of the best features from Pokemon Legends Arceus that is going to be making a return inside of these games is the ability to change out the moves for your Pokemon at any time right from the menus that you have inside of the game. And this is something that was really cool inside of Pokemon Legends, because like for example, if you wanted to catch a Pokemon, obviously if you paralyze it, it's better to catch the Pokemon that way. So one of the really cool things that you could do in Pokemon Legends was if you had a Pokemon like Raichu and it knew the move Thunderbolt and you wanted to go and catch a rare Pokemon, you could just go into your menu, switch out the move Thunderbolt, put back Thunder Wave, go and battle that Pokemon, paralyze it, catch the Pokemon, and then after that battle's over, you can go back into the menu for your Raichu, take out Thunder Wave and put back Thunderbolt, and you can just basically switch out the moves that you want whenever you need them. And it was a really good change, and I'm very happy that this is also going to be inside of Generation 9. It also looks like that every single trainer battle inside of these games is going to be completely optional, as none of the trainers are going to have the line of sight mechanic that's been in Pokemon for so many years, where if you walk in front of a trainer and they see you, they're immediately going to get that exclamation point above their head and start walking over to you for a battle. None of them are going to do that. You can run by Pokemon trainers as much as you want inside of this game. Until you go up to them and press A and talk to them yourself, you're just not going to be able to battle them. So it's actually possible that you can skip every single trainer that you want inside of this game, and that's probably going to be a really big strategy that I'm sure people are going to do in terms of speedrunning. The movable camera during battles is also going to be returning from Pokemon Legends Arceus. I know in some of the trailers for these games, a lot of the angles were kind of weird and people were getting worried they weren't actually going to be able to change the perspective when you're battling, but when you do battle, you basically just move the R stick and you can move the camera around to get the best possible angle that you want. Now, regular Pokemon currency is also still going to be inside of these games. I know in one of the recent trailers they introduced that new LP mechanic that you're going to be using to make your own TMs and stuff, and some people got worried that this was going to like replace the normal Pokemon money that you get. That's not true. You're still going to be able to get normal Pokemon money from just battling trainers and gym leaders and all of that, and you're going to be able to use that to buy items at a Pokemart like potions and super potions and all of that good stuff. Now, it might be possible that the brand new status effects from Pokemon Legends Arceus with Drowsy and Frostbite could still be inside of these games, as in one of the gameplay footages that we've seen right here for Terra Raid battles, we can see the Pokemon Ferrograph, which is actually asleep here with the sleeping icon on it. However, we can still see it using the move Psybeam, and a lot of people are kind of wondering why this is the case. Now, the easy explanation for this is that maybe it just knows the move Sleep Talk, where it's still falling asleep but it's still using that move, so it could be very possible that that's just what it is. But it's also possible that maybe this is actually going to be like the Drowsy status effect from Pokemon Legends Arceus, where your Pokemon would be drowsy, but they would still be able to attack sometimes. Now, that really big main city that they've shown us in the very first trailer for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and we've pretty much seen it in every trailer since then, it looks like that place is actually going to be its own separate loading zone, so that is a little bit interesting. I'm not exactly sure, maybe there's going to be just like certain aspects of that area that you're going to have so many different things in, and that's why it's like its own separate thing. So even though the entire game is going to be open world, it seems like there are going to be a couple of little areas that are still going to be like segmented and have their own loading zones. And speaking of loading zones, it seems like that every single gym battle arena is also going to be its own separate loading zone and segmented from the open world, which I guess makes a lot of sense because you're not actually just going to be having a gym battle right then and there in the world itself, but it's probably going to be its own actual facility, so it's going to be in its own building. Now, speaking of the gym battles, it seems like that there is going to be chanting again when the gym leader is going to be sending out their final Pokemon. So if you enjoyed that inside of Pokemon Sword and Shield, where I know it was really cool because the battles were happening in these giant stadiums, and whenever they got to their final Pokemon and they used their Dynamax, the entire crowd was like cheering along, and it was always getting really hyped and exciting. So it's probably not going to be to that extent because obviously they're not in a stadium here, but it seems like according to these previews and people who did the gym battle, there is still going to be chanting when they use their ace Pokemon. Now, when you're doing these battles against Team Star's hideout, you might have noticed these red vending machines that are in the background, and from people who played the previews, it seems like that these vending machines are actually going to give you the ability to be able to restore your Pokemon and buy potions and items and stuff, so if you're starting to not do really well during their hideout mission, you can still be able to restore your Pokemon and try to have a better chance. Now, speaking of the Team Star hideout, we've already seen one of their admins being Mela, and we already know that she's going to be battling you, but now it's also been confirmed that she is actually going to be using that engine Pokemon that she's riding on top of inside of the battle as well, and that Pokemon is supposedly going to be a pretty challenging battle, as one of the abilities that this Pokemon has is Speed Boost, so it's going to be raising its speed every battle, and it is going to get a little bit tricky. The left button on the D-pad is also going to give you the ability to change your appearance whenever you want, so you don't have to worry about always going to like a Pokemon Center or going to like a salon or anything like that anymore. If you're in the world right now and you just feel like changing something in terms of your clothing and your style and stuff, you can just access that whenever you want right from a button on your D-pad. Now, speaking of character customization, you're also going to have every single option available to every player now, so that's really good because I know in the past if you picked like the boy, you always had like a couple of options and then the girl had like 60 million options, so it's really nice now that everybody is going to be able to get every style and every option available to them. Now, the down button on the D-pad is what's going to let you go into photo mode, and that's how you can take selfies with your Pokemon and take screenshots of like Pokemon that are sleeping in the wild and all of that cute stuff, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to take lots of images and post them all over the internet. Now the other buttons on the D-pad allow you to be able to do emotes, so you can do like a little clapping animation or a high five or something, and that's pretty nice because if you invite some friends over to be able to play with you, you can still be able to communicate with them that way and take pictures together like that and stuff, so it's a pretty cool feature. I do wonder if you're going to be able to buy like different emotes and be able to customize them and stuff, or if it's just like a set number of emotes that everybody has. Now, it's also been confirmed that boxes can be accessed from anywhere inside of the game again, so just like in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee and Pokemon Sword and Shield and pretty much almost all the Pokemon games, you can pretty much access your PC box whenever you want and sub out your Pokemon and add new Pokemon and stuff at any point in the game, and you don't have to worry about going to a Pokemon Center. The Terra raid battles in these games also give the same rewards as the max raid battles inside of Pokemon Sword and Shield, so if you remember what you did to get like the rare berries and EXP candies and all of that, you're going to be getting the same type of rewards inside of these games as well. Now, in terms of uniforms, it seems like they mentioned that there's a school uniform for every type of season, where there's going to be like a spring one, a summer one, a fall one, and a winter one, but it seems like they're all going to be just uniforms. So I know some people were wondering if you were going to be able to take out the uniforms and be able to have like a jacket or a hoodie or something normal, but no, you're pretty much just going to have a school uniform for the entire game, it seems like, and I guess that's just because it's a part of like the entire game and how it's made. You're basically like a student at this academy and doing this mission and everything, so I guess they really just want you to be able to have a school uniform the entire time. There's also a recently battled section now inside of the pokedex, so if you do find like a really cool brand new Pokemon that you've never seen before and you just battled it and you want to know where you can find your own or anything like that, you can just go into your pokedex, go into the recently battled section, find that Pokemon, and then look for its habitat and get more information about it, so that's a pretty nice quality of life change. The simple button layout from Pokemon Legends Arceus is also going to be kind of carrying over into these games, where the plus button is going to allow you to be able to call upon your ride Pokemon, so that's how you're going to be able to access Koraidon and Miraidon, and then you're also going to be able to use the Y button to be able to quickly go through your party and switch out which Pokemon you want to appear at the top that you send out into battle first. So I know in Pokemon Legends it was like the X button that you just pressed a couple times and that would be able to let you shuffle through your Pokemon, so it's going to be kind of similar to that inside of these games as well. Another pretty nice quality of life change now is when you go into the map and mark a destination for where you want to go, the camera will actually kind of move around in the direction and point where you have to go after you're done setting that landmark inside of the big open world, so you don't have to worry about kind of going into the wrong area. It'll kind of guide you to where you have to walk, so that is a pretty nice little change to have. You can also gain multiple levels now inside of one animation, which is a pretty nice quality of life change too, because before, if you were leveling up some Pokemon and grinding and stuff, and you sent out like a level 1 Pokemon against like a level 99, you battled it or whatever, you switched it out, and then you sent somebody else out to beat it, then once you watch that other Pokemon level up, it would go like, brrrtink, level 2, brrrtink, level 3, brrrtink, and it would just do that for a really long time. Now you don't have to worry about that, it'll just go right from like level 1 to like 57 if it needs to. It also looks like that you're going to have access to all of Koraidon and Miraidon's features immediately after you get them, so whenever you get them at the point in the story, you're pretty much just going to have access to being able to climb with them, fly with them, go in the water and everything right away, so it's not like a feature that you have to unlock where you just start out riding them, and then you have to unlock being able to climb, and then unlock being able to fly and all of that. You just get everything right away. You can also change the nicknames of your Pokemon at any point in the game too, so you don't have to worry about going to like a certain NPC or going to a certain location to being able to change that. You can just go into the menus whenever you want and change your Pokemon's name, just like in Pokemon Legends Arceus. And finally, the last piece of information that we have is your trainer is not going to be able to do any of the dodge rolls or anything like that from Pokemon Legends Arceus, so that does kind of suck a little bit because Pokemon are not going to be like attacking your trainer if you're wandering around in the world, and Pokemon aren't going to be like super aggressive like they were inside of that game, where like Pokemon can actually try to like make you fall asleep and kind of paralyze you and then charge at you and stuff, which I actually really enjoyed that inside of Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I feel like that added a lot of sense of kind of realism to being a part of the Pokemon world. Inside of these games, it seems like Pokemon are kind of just going to be wandering around a little bit and trying to run at you to initiate a battle, but they're not really going to be like super threatening or aggressive, which does kind of suck a little bit. But yeah, there you go guys, that is pretty much all the new information that we have right now for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet from all of these previews. If you guys enjoyed this video, then definitely be sure to click that like button and also comment down below and let me know what you guys think about all of this. I would really appreciate it if you did. It took me a lot of time to read through all of this and compile everything together, so I would really appreciate it. If you guys are new to this channel, then definitely be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to have some more Pokemon content in the future, so definitely be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. click on that bell to become a part of the notification squad. Go follow me on Twitter at @Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros. And Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.